Mayhem does thou away. Welcome one, welcome all. This is of course Mellow and Vibe. Yeah, baby. Episode 55. What? WrestleMania 41. Night 2, indeed, yes, I know, by now everybody knows, but welcome one, welcome all to Mellow and Vibe 55, yeah, baby! Everybody is so truly welcome here. I am, of course, your host, Oscar Reeling. It is my honour, my pleasure, and my privilege, to be back again with you, and of course more WrestleMania talk, more Manic Mania Night 2. But because the Raw after Mania has gone live and we all watched, and we knew and we know, and we witnessed exactly what unfolded upon that Raw after Mania. But right now I'm not going to mention a word, just all I'm going to say is, my damn, that was beautiful. Mayhem did that way. But in this very episode 55 of Mellow and Vibe, we are going to be speaking loud, speaking proud about WrestleMania 42 Night 2. And of course, we all know. And of course, I'm going to begin with the legend killer, the Viper, Randy Orton, because I like to do these in no particular order. I mean, we can work up, but Randy Orton's open challenge should have been a form of a main event, because that was beautiful. That was surrounded by mystery. That was surrounded by wonder, into the unknown. It was like, who would step out from behind that curtain, whose music would hit, and who would enter the chaos zone down to Mania madness to cement their WrestleMania moment in history against the Viper, Randy Orton. We had no idea. I mean, I thought maybe Kevin Owens was playing a bit of mind games. He was sneaking, peeking, thinking, I'll pretend to be injured, but he was sadly, because Owens and Orton at Mania would have been, yes please, vicious and savagery. But by now we know, holy hell, Orton opened the challenge, spitting the Viper venom as he did before he opened it. A moment's silence before the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry's music hit. The turn, the beauty, the standing ovation, the energy, the emanation as Joe Hendry's music hit, and he made his way down that WrestleMania ramp to cement his legacy into WWE's WrestleMania history, Hall of Fame, TNA, WWE, Orton versus Hendry, first time ever, or the first time in many years, because I do remember way back when they did have a standoff, WWE versus TNA. It was a clash, it was a battle, it was Titans versus Titans. And my damn, this was a hellfire of a match, this was a groovy match, and it was beautiful to watch. I loved every single moment of it. Orton heavy hitting, Hendry heavy hitting, some taunts there, getting the crowd going, some near misses, some energy, some pump ups, and woo, indeed. And of course, we know who stood tall thanks to a cheeky little taunt. I mean, Hendry playing into it, that special little turn he does from behind, and he's like, yeah baby, look at me, smiling, profiling, feeling vibe, because Hendry was on fire, Hendry was on top, Hendry was slaying the Viper, but the Viper did not go down fighting. Of course he did not. Randy Orton, the legend killer, the Viper, spitting his venom back and forth with Hendry, and then of course as Hendry was going for the 1, 2, 3, he did the turn and he was met with 3 vicious savagery letters, RKO, and there is your victor, Randy Orton, getting the victor against Joe Hendry because Joe did his turn and then he was met with an RKO and that was done. The Viper, the legend killer, Randy Orton standing tall, but that was a hellfire back and forth. I did really enjoy that match, and I did love it because I thought, you know, this is a mystery and we've not really had an open challenge in quite some time, you know, where we didn't know. It was swarmed in hellfire mystery. I mean, I was coming up with all kinds of, you know, little bit of this and a little bit of that, you know. I heard speculation that Nick Aldis might return to the ring. Nick Aldis's music would hit and he would be ready to take on the Viper after the Viper gave him a little cheeky RKO. I mean, it was vicious, it was savagery. I mean, there's nothing little or cheeky about. Well, it's cheeky because you don't know when it's coming. It's big, it's impactful, it will put you down for the 3, but you don't know when it's coming. That's why it's quite cheeky and sneaking, because just like the Sweet Chin music, you don't know when it's coming. It's there and then BAM! It's right there. So there was speculation that Nick Aldis would step through the curtain, his music would play, and he would rock down to Mania to take on the Viper. And I also had speculation that it could be Edge. Edge could return, you know, rated RKO, they could step again. I mean, the game, Triple H, because Orton, and the game, you know, evolution, and they had a back and forth and stuff, and I was thinking maybe Ted DiBiase, because they were in Legacy together. I mean, Orton and Cena had some rivals, so I was like, could Cena's music hit, and he'd be like, you know what, you're going to get 2 tonight, but no, he didn't. It was Joe Hendry submitting the TNA Legacy into Wrestalmania, rocking it wild, and I thought at one point he might just seek out victory against the Viper, Randy Orton, because that was hellfire close. I mean, that was a back and forth, yes, please. Now, speaking of one epic match, Orton versus Hendry, we're moving on to another match which was quite savage, quite vicious, and it rocked wild quite well. There was very heavy hits, I thought, and it did kind of spill out. There was a back and forth, boom, steel, boom, elbows, phenomenal it was, and that was, of course, AJ Styles going one-on-one with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Like, that was, holy hell, that was vicious, that was savagery. That was insane. I mean, it was a groovy match, a back and forth. It was beautiful and bliss. I mean, savage Styles, I meant to say, Styles was savage with the phenomenal forearms and the leaping sky high. Take nothing away from Logan Paul, he was savage as well, sky high, doing the moonsaults, doing the backflips, the distance he gathered, the moments, the mayhems, the near misses. Paul going for the cover, 1, 2, not quite yet. AJ going for the top cover, 1, 2, not quite yet. It was back and forth, and of course, because he is the all-time, that's how he began streaming and blogging and doing his thing. Logan liked to add a bit of that, you know, with a camera, with a bit of a drone, you know, showing off and doing his thing, beating down Styles and slaying Styles. It was a vicious back and forth, I'll tell you that. It was an interesting match, and I was not sure who would seek out victory, because they were just, there was a lot on the line, even though it was a standard set for one fall kind of match, but it was a hellfire back and forth, and it was beautiful to watch. It was mesmerizing for all these Mania matches, if not, most of them, because they were there and they had this level of yes, because it was Mania 41. Holy hell, there was a lot going on, and I was on the edge of my seat. I was close to the screen, and I was like, come on. I watched these live. I watched it unfold step by step, and that is what you want, because it is the mystery, it is the wonder, it is the unknown. And AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, it had been a fire build-up just like the rest of these matches. A lot of brutality, a lot of viciousness, a lot of back and forth, security flying over, a lot of spills and thrills, like I said, and I'm using brutality quite a lot, and we've not even got to Rhea Ripley yet. This is my brutality. This is their brutality. The brutality of the Empire. The brutality of the legacy. Because it was amazing. And that was a beautiful, beautiful match. It was amazing to watch. It was high flying. It was energetic. It was unpredictable. It was, yeah, baby. It was beautiful, and that was a good time vibe, and keeping the good time vibe flowing. Woo! Yeah! We're going next to the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, stepping in to Mania against Bayley and Valkyria, but Bayley was unable to compete, as you know by now. So it was Valkyria with a mystery opponent, because sadly Bayley could not step down there. We wish that was true, because Valkyria and Bayley are Hellfire best friends, and they make an awesome team. Yes, please. But Valkyria, the legend of the sky, the Valkyrie, soaring with those wings, and that's exactly what she did. Lyra Valkyria storming into WrestleMania 41 with her wings spread, flying high indeed. I can't do it because I don't have the space. It's like I'm yeeting. But you see, she was yeeting all the way to the Chaos Zone with her wings spread, flying high, ready to cause some chaos. The Valkyrie entering the battlefield. Yes, please. And of course, Liv and Raquel were ready, rocking it wild. Yes, my hair is everywhere. What's going on? Unpredictability. Because who was her partner? Liv and Raquel were ready. They were ready for a fight. And you could hear, if you listen closely, you could hear Liv saying, come on, who'd you get, girl? Who'd you get? Who is it? And then it was like, whoa, boom. The man, Becky Lynch, had returned to the Chaos Zone, walking down. You can feel it, the energy. Becky Lynch has returned to wrestling. Liv Morgan for the past year, maybe more, had been bragging, had been emanating out that yes, she was the one that retired for all eternity. The man, Becky Lynch, she had retired her, she'd put her down, she had defeated her for the last time. And of course, not quite yet, the man had risen as Becky Lynch made her way to the Chaos Zone, down the ramp of Mania, to stand side by side with Lyra Valkyria with purpose and intent, viciousness in her eyes, because she wanted to get her hands on Liv Morgan and shut them down. And this was a beautiful tag team matchup. Liv and Raquel versus Becky and Valkyria. It was a heavy hitter. It was a back and forth, and my damn, that was on the edge of the seat even closer, because it was retained, not quite yet, new, not quite yet. The referee's hands, 1, 2, 3, so close. I could not believe it. I was jumping up. I was going, holy hell, that is not quite yet. It was amazing. There was some brutal spots. There was some high flyings. There was some spills and thrills. Everybody's out. Yes! It was one for Mania. It was beautiful. Each and every one of these matches has cemented their spot into history, wrestling history. It was beautiful. It was bliss. And that was unforgettable. And of course, if you do not know, you know now, because everybody knows now what happened at WrestleMania 41. Becky and Valkyria are your new World Heavyweight Women's Tag Team Champions. They annihilated and they defeated Liv Morgan. Yes, they defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, putting them out permanently and acquiring the gold for themselves. So your new World Heavyweight Women's Tag Team Champions, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Lyra's got not one but two forms of gold, rocking it wild. Moving on to Carnage, Chaos and Unpredictability. Damien Priest going one-on-one with a McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath. Yeah, brutality. Indeed, Damien Priest going one-on-one, as he called him, the Timu Undertaker. But, I mean, he did. Damien Priest setting up for the legendary old school. That was vicious. That was a Sin City street fight. I mean, sadly, I found out that did not mean anything different. It was just the name, Sin City. I thought maybe there was a new form of stipulation. There was something going down that we'd never seen before, like maybe it was a street fight, but it was also a false count anywhere, or, you know, you had to KO them. So, like, it was a street fight, but the only way to win was to just KO them completely, like black them out, knock them out, like, you know, not a last man standing, because you wouldn't get counted down. You just beat them and beat them and beat them until they could not stand anymore, and it's like that, right, he's out, you're the winner, that sort of thing. Something with a twist, because it was called a Sin City street fight. It could have just been called a street fight, but I understand because there was brutality between Drew McIntyre and Damien Priest, and it was vicious. There was a lot of, like, where Priest and McIntyre brawled, and Priest savagely put McIntyre through that car, the hood of the car, the glass, the bonnet, everywhere, taking McIntyre out, which amused CM Punk as he was walking down with a smile on his face. And of course, McIntyre brutally destroyed Damien Priest, putting him through announce tables, hitting him with chairs, smacking him upside the head. It was insane. So I was thinking maybe they could have added a twisted demonic style stipulation because it was a Sin City street fight, but they did not. But it was brutal. And of course, as McIntyre was about to taste some legendary old school set up by Damien Priest, McIntyre, boom, Super Saiyan out of the blocks and throwing Damien Priest through two tables. That just, wow, he went, and it was insane. It was crazy. We had some announce table spots, we had some barricade bashers, we had some steel steps over and over, upside the head. It was brutal, it was vicious. We had some, my oh my, I mean, Priest taking those steel steps repeatedly to his spine by Drew McIntyre. Both warriors and Goliaths standing tall, but in the end, Drew McIntyre seeked out the 1, 2, 3 as he did, standing tall, and Priest does indeed live to fight another day, because Priest was bloody and broken and destroyed, but he was not out. I feel Priest will return, but McIntyre did indeed put a beat down on Priest, like just ripping and tearing, biting and pulling. It was everything and all brutality. It was vicious and savagery. And of course, speaking of savagery, we have Braun Breaker the Intercontinental Champion going one-on-one with Penta, Finn Balor and Dirty Dominic Mysterio in a fatal four-way match, which was very, very vicious. High flying, here, there and everywhere. People getting beaten down. Like Breaker put the hurt on everybody in that match. Breaker put the hurt on Penta, on Balor, on Dirty Dom especially, and there was like finisher after finisher, cover after cover, 1, 2, not quite yet, but holy hell, that was demonically vicious. And of course, Bron Breakker had to build up that speed and take out everybody. And just like I said, because he's sneaky peeky, he's dirty and he's Dominic Mysterio. Thinking ahead, he seeks out victory, and you are looking at your new Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Yes, indeed. Sneaking, peeking, 1, 2, 3. Frog splash to none other than the demonic Finn Balor. The former, or should I say the other members, one of his previous members of Judgment Day. What I'm trying to say is they're still together in Judgment Day. They're best friends. They rock it well. There's been a back and forth, but Dirty Dom, frog splash for the 3. And then after that, we have, of course, Io Sky, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley triple threat rules. It was vicious, it was brutal, there wasn't really any weapons, but there was high flying, there was heavy hits, there was brutal knockouts. Rhea Ripley hitting people from the sky, Riptide from the top, boom, 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 Io Sky, the Empress of the Sky, flying, Bianca Belair hitting the boom, 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 the KOD. Boom, boom, boom. It was vicious, but of course, it was brutal. It was in brutality. This was brutality. And of course, your victor, and still, your Women's World Heavyweight Champion, Io Sky. I thought she would return, going high to infinity and beyond, and annihilating both Rhea and Bianca, and just recapturing, retaining the gold. And last but not least, to add from the fire after fire after fire, the momentum after momentum, the beauty after beauty, Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. Would Cena capture 17? This was like when Taker lost the streak. It was unpredictable. Well, we didn't actually know he would lose that streak because he never did until that moment. And of course, a back and forth between Rhodes and Cena. It was brutal, it was vicious, it was a very, very interesting slow burn. That's what it was, a back and forth, a very, very slow start from Cena, from Rhodes, from Cena, from Rhodes, from Cena, from Rhodes, and then it picked up, and of course Travis Scott made himself known as Cena was in control, Rhodes getting control, Crossroads, wait a minute, not quite yet, as Travis Scott gets a Crossroads for himself for good measure, and then as, yes, a twist of events, Cena begging for forgiveness, low blow to Cody Rhodes, you've got it, 1, 2, 3, Mr. 17-time World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena. Yep, that's how it be. This has been Mellow and Vibe. I have been Oscar Riedling, your host, episode 55 of Mellow and Vibe, Mania 42, night 2. Keep it rocking, keep it rolling, keep that Mania madness flowing to infinity and beyond. This has been in brutality. Pure and true. We'll talk more as we do, because of course mayhem does our way, and you got some mayhem right there. Pure and true.